underwater.
Acknowledging a tumultuous history suffered on
detours, roadblocks, unexpected twists and turns. You probably experienced your own share of these in 2023. And as an island, we contended with our portion as well. In fact, it was just last week, literally days before Christmas, when spirits are usually merry and bright, that heavy rainfall out of nowhere, dampened the season for the villagers of Charlottesville. A situation that resulted in significant damages for some, which we at the Tobago House of Assembly are working feverishly on how to assist, how we could assist them. But even as we stand here on this newly developed Friendship Connector Road, I am reminded that challenges are indeed part of the journey. It is an unassailable truth that we sometimes shy away from, a fixed reality that is crucial for us to maturely embrace. Challenges will inevitably be part of any worthwhile endeavor. There remains wisdom in the maxim that the easy road is not necessarily the best one. These challenges, however, ought to never be interpreted as signals to give in and to stop pushing forward. As an administration, we propose to press on, knowing that the addition of this Friendship Connector Road would ultimately redound to the greater good of Tobago and the Tobagonians. And this is not just about building a new roadway. It's about how this new infrastructure will pave the way for a stronger island. In Southwest Tobago, we are cognizant of the rising levels of traffic congestion being experienced on a frequent basis. We are also extremely mindful of the various adverse effects that traffic jams can have on motorists' well-being, on pollution levels, and even on the island's productivity. Therefore, we saw the Friendship Connector Road project as one of the most important ones in prioritizing Tobagonians' need for development. Now, on the cusp of this new year, we are close to completion of phase 1, and it is truly gratifying, a gratifying feeling that we will soon be able to gift this new piece of infrastructure to the people of Tobago. A piece of infrastructure that provides the driving public with more choice and will hopefully add more peace and comfort to your daily commutes as well. Earlier this year, I experienced the same heartening feeling when we delivered on an improved bridge along with other civil works at Google Patch in Providence. A few months ago, I went up to the hospital at Roxborough and got tested as part of the eye clinic, where we were able to perform over 1,000 surgeries for cataract. We have spent over $30 million trying to get rid of the backlog for gratuities and increments for our teachers. In other words, Tobago, we are moving full speed ahead, ensuring that development reach you, ensuring that you benefit from your government, and ensuring that you enjoy a standard of living that is superior to most anywhere else in the world. And so this Friendship Connector Road is really symptomatic or symbolic of our efforts as an administration, of the challenges we face from outside, of the fact that it's a constant fight to ensure that we can deliver to the people of Tobago. But fight on we must, because we must absolutely deliver according to your needs. As I shared earlier, in pursuit of worthwhile goals, you must expect concomitant challenges. So when you are crafting the New Year's resolutions, when you are creating the vision boards, when you are making your future declarations, such as my plans to lose the belly, you must in fact remember that there will be challenges that you have to overcome. And when the time comes to eventually face the challenge, understand there is a fringe opportunity as well. Instead, view your challenge as a clarion call, an invitation to insert greater effort to apply more lateral thinking and to test the strength of your resolve. Believe, truly believe, that the boulders which you encounter in your personal lives can be transformed into building blocks, so as long as you remain willing to apply the needed pressure. My fellow Tobagonians, I believe that we must adopt a similar attitude for community and island building. As Tobagonians, we absolutely cannot afford to cower in the face of any challenge. For when we cower, we subtly hand over our power and decrease the possibility of conquering the obstacle down the road. And some things are far too valuable for us to give over without a fight. So as we witness a concerning rise of criminality across the island, we must be willing to stand together as Tobagonians, regardless of our differences, and collectively say, not on our watch. The paradise that is known as Tobago shall not fail and shall not fall. Therefore, we cannot allow fear to cause us to turn a blind eye to the wrongs around us. After all, silence empowers darkness. As Tobagonians, we must also be willing to ask for a spiritual intervention for this island and render the crucial support to our security forces. I wholeheartedly believe in us and know that we will do all in our united power that this does not become our new norm. Tobago's progress will not be derailed. We have an island and a people to continue pushing towards greatness. Time and time again, we have shown that we are tenacious. We have demonstrated that we are indeed a resilient people, capable of weathering any storm. This is the Tobago that I know. This is the Tobago that I love. This is the Tobago we must protect. In my very first New Year's message, I asked you to intentionally include Tobago in your resolutions. And I hope that you still see the value of continuing to do so 2 years later on. Do not just create your Tobago resolutions, but also be willing to earnestly action them in the coming year. I am certain that many of our aspirations will overlap for this island, so it should not be too complicated to join forces. I believe at the end of the day, we all want the same things. We all desire to be able to exist here safely with our families on an island with opportunity and growing prosperity. Our visions often align, and it is past time for our actions to do the same. No longer is it sufficient to only talk about loving Tobago. In 2024, let us all strategically think about Tobago's improvement. Let us commit to transforming Tobago and making her even more beautiful day by day. Above all, let us ensure that Tobago and her generations continue to thrive and triumph. So on behalf of my family and the Tobago House of Assembly, I want to wish a Happy New Year to the greatest little island on the entire planet. Happy New Year, everyone.
Time check on Tobago updates is brought to you by Flow, Tobago's newest fiber network.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning, morning.
Compliments of the season and good morning to you. Happy New Year's. It's been quite a while since I've been here and hosting on the Tobago Upbeat Television. We are live here in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, and it's really a pleasure to be here this morning. My name is A.N.R, your favorite youth host, and I'm joined with
Luke Trim. And viewers, good morning. It's always excited to be here on the Youth Wednesday show here on Tobago Updates. So for those of you joining us as you take your morning breakfast and your morning meditation, and also for those of you tuning in on the radio, thank you so much for choosing Tobago Updates to start your morning on the right note. Once again, I'm Luke Trim, and I'm also joined by
Natalia Nancy. Good morning, Dwayne and Luke. Happy New Year to you all and all viewers. Happy to join you all for the youthful vibe and vigor that we have for our Youth Wednesdays, or midweek, to take our viewers to the rest of the week.
All right. Is it still too late to sing "It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas"?
Yeah, doing
I
it.
think it's
It
kind of
kinda
late,
is.
yeah.
No,
Christmas
but doesn't it is it not still lingering in the air? The Christmas songs, the Christmas cake, the black cake, which I love very much, the sorrel. Is it all finished by?
I wouldn't say lingering because my fridge has been cleared of all those.
Yeah,
those
because your
items.
greedy tail did not look
Is
to
right
bring any
back
for the
to Sunday.
any of us.
My black cake is finished. I'm
Right,
I'm
and you all
disappointed.
didn't decide to bring any for Dwayne, but that's fine.
Well, the last time I checked, Dwayne wasn't nearby, so getting it
And
getting it
Dwayne,
onto
where is our
Dwayne
black
would have
cake?
seemed
We
a
should
bit
be asking
difficult.
you.
You know, I was like, all right, no problem. You could have put in the freezer for me as Granny and them does always do. But what has been happening in this space, we see a lot happening in this space, unfortunately, as it pertains to crime. And what else?
We would have seen that Tobago's first Chief Secretary, Mr. Ho Charles, would have passed away.
Yes.
And, Mr. Charles was one of the persons who would have led the charge for us as Tobagonians to really value who we are as Tobagonians and our identity. And, as young people looking on, we would probably say something is wrong with this man, like, why is he so crazy? But it's only until I myself and the other Tobagonians, we would have moved to Trinidad and we started seeing the culture and the perceptions and the way us as Tobagonians are treated on a daily basis. That is when we start to understand why Mr. Charles was doing what he was doing and why it is so important for us to really have our own self-governance and even us to have our identity at UE. And that would have led to me starting the Tobago Students Association. I think you'll be hearing more about that as the time goes on, but it's only because of people like Mr. Charles that we were able to follow and say, hey guys, we need to do this. So what did Mr. Charles mean to you, Mr.
Well, I had a very personal relationship with him even before him becoming, joining the team with the Chief Secretary. And I remember on one particular note, we had a session down at the library, and I was baffled by how this man could recite every part of the Constitution, especially as it pertains to the Tobago House of Assemblies Act. And I just, from that moment, for me, I began following this man. I also love the fact that he was so brutally honest, regardless of which side he sit. And to some he might come off a bit crass, a bit uncouth, but that's just who he is. He knows what he knows, and I truly respect him, and definitely he will be missed. He was definitely one of my Tobago heroes.
All right. I think I'm going to continue on what Luke was saying, where how he fought for Tobago. I think not as recent, but our present administration, he would have publicly stated to Farley that he would like our present Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, he would have stated that he would have liked to be part of the team. And I mean, it was mentioned in his post when he did announce his death on Facebook that he was a bit hesitant to allow him in, but he did, and he saw the benefits of that in the long run. So that is what I remember about Mr. Charles.
Yeah, definitely he will be missed. Very pro-Tobago. But that is it for that. We want to go over to Natalia Nantes for news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Dwayne and Luke. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 3rd January 2024, brought to you by B-Mobile. It's a Christmas season with B-Mobile. National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines has confirmed that after consulting with Pandey's family, the former Prime Minister who passed away on Monday, January 1st, 2024, will receive a state funeral. Pandey died in Florida, surrounded by loved ones, and will be brought back to Trinidad and Tobago for the funeral. Minister Hines emphasized the importance of honoring Pandey, noting that a date for the funeral has not yet been determined and that decision rests with Pandey's relatives. Basdio Pandey, the country's 5th Prime Minister, passed away at age 90 after a distinguished public career. Meanwhile, the funeral for former Chief Secretary Hochoy Charles is set for Thursday, 4th January at 11 a.m. at the Shaw Park complex. Before the service, there will be a viewing of the body starting at 9 a.m., and members of the public are invited to share their tributes on that day. While the new school term began without any major challenges in Tobago, some teachers did not receive their back pay as promised. The Trinidad and Tobago Teachers Unified Association, TUTA, one of the unions that concluded wage negotiations with the Chief Personnel Officer, expected to receive their monies before Christmas, as the Minister of Finance promised. However, in Tobago, the funds were only released to the Division of Education on December 19th. The division assured teachers that every effort was being made to complete all payments by December 31st. According to TUTA Tobago officer Braden Roberts, not all teachers were paid. And that was your news in 90 seconds, brought to you by B-Mobile. It's a Christmas season with B-Mobile.
News in 90 seconds was brought to you by B-Mobile. It's a Christmas season with B-Mobile.
This Christmas we celebrating, cause B-Mobile they coming with rating. So brace yourself for plenty prizes, cause this season will be the nice. It's the most deals and the most vibes and the most cars and the most prize. The most giveaways, the most parang. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile. I want a Christmas season with B-Mobile. Bring me sorry, let me toast to a Merry Christmas. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile.
Top up, buy a plan, sign up or pay your bills. Enjoy the best Trinbago Christmas. B-Mobile. Life is on.
Thank you, Natalia, for that excellent read of the news in 90 seconds. And you know, guys, we know it's customary that in January, a lot of people are sad because they spent out all their Christmas money. But thankfully, few people are still celebrating their birthdays, so we're going to head over to the birthdays at the moment. First on our list, we are sending out a huge happy birthday to Miss Yolanda Lisa Beckles. A happy birthday to you, and I hope you enjoy your day today.
And last but not least, Miss Ayana Benjamin Charles. A happy birthday goes out to you. I hope you keep singing. I wish to hear more of you singing, and I pray that God blesses you for the rest of the year. Happy birthday goes out to you from the Tobago Updates family.
Right, lovely. So, Dwayne, would you do the honors and let our viewers know what we have in store for them this morning?
Sure. So first, we have Dr. Rupert Ryan to discuss crime and violence in schools. And Brother Luke Trim will be conducting that interview. And next we have, again, Dr. Rupert Ryan conducting a second segment of that overall discussion. And that will be led by none other than Miss Nancis. And last but certainly not least, we have Miss Recia Ortiz. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I think it's
Renica Ortiz. She will be coming to discuss about the Phoenix Society. And that is our rundown for this morning. Again, thank you for joining us. And I hope you remember to
share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. Never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider and we'll always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tattoo, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
A.N.R. Health, number 13B Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, with over 25 years experience offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome back to the Youth Wednesday show here on Tobago Updates. Now, Trinidad and Tobago was ranked the 6th most criminal country according to the World of Statistics. Added to that, the increase in criminal activity among secondary school children is also of national concern. Joining us this morning to chat on these topics is none other than Dr. Rupert Ryan, a professional counselor. Dr. Ryan, a special morning to you, and how are you doing?
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Right, excellent. So crime, this is a topic that is no stranger to us here in Trinidad and Tobago. It's something that we have been battling since the late 90s. We were seeing increasing gang violence, gun violence, homicides, and it's been, in a sense, exacerbated due to social media. Citizens are now seeing the gruesome reality of crime here in Trinidad and Tobago. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that, first of all, we have to, when we think of crime and violence that is happening today, we have to recognize that what is happening today is a result, perhaps the fruits of the seeds that were sown. And so it's important for us to look at the etiology of these things, the root causes. And so we need to start by trying to understand what are the root causes, where it came from, and then we can look perhaps at some solutions.
Okay, root causes, that's an interesting note, because doing research, many professionals have different root causes that can cause crime. In your professional opinion, what are some root causes here in Trinidad and Tobago that contribute to our crime rate?
Well, we can look at a number of things. Basic, I think we have to look at the family. That's perhaps one of the major root causes. And this does not mean that a particular family is good or bad, because sometimes what is good, or what a family might think is very good for a child, they might overdo, they might spoil the child. They might let the child have everything he wants. Is that good or bad? So we have to look at these causes and how the family impacts the child, and how each generation of families have impacted the next generation. So it's not something that has begun last year. It is something that has been rooted, and perhaps it is in the very fabric now of the society.
Well, interesting. Family, and you know, our older generation will always say that the habits you have at home, you will take it afar. Are there any other root causes other than family that you think contribute to the crime rate?
Yes, we can also look at we can look at poverty and the effects of poverty on the family and on the individuals. We can look at slavery and the lasting effects of slavery, and there are those who don't believe that's it's happened so long ago. But when you think about the DNA, when you think about the causes, you have to look at fathers and sons, and the son walks like the father and the son talks like the father, and so you can see how from generation to generation things are handed down, things are passed down. So we can also look at the family structure. I think we must also, looking at poverty, look at the family structure, look at the socialization process within the society itself, and also with the subculture of the family, because you know every family is a subculture, but we have the wider culture of the particular society. In fact, if you look at just Tobago, sorry, you can see that the folkways and mores from Charlottesville might be quite different from Lekoto or Lescoto. And so when you have your heritage, you go to Charlottesville to see certain things, and you go to Lescoto to see certain things. Well, in the same way, these very, very societies or sub-societies develop ways of behaving and doing things that become acculturated and then become part of the fabric of the now society.
Okay, interesting. And I loved how you mentioned the sub-societies, because those root causes you would have mentioned earlier, if we are to narrow them down to communities that are depressed, that are vulnerable, those communities that are known for high criminal activity, you will see that the culture in those communities is different from what we will see in other communities. For example, if we had to look at certain villages where we will see the young men, they don't have father figures. The father figures that they do have are not the ones that really carry them in the right direction. And we now see that it is fostering this next issue we are seeing, which is gang violence. A report in 2020 would have revealed that 205 out of the 393 murders were attributed to gang violence. Are you of the belief now that gang activity in Trinidad and Tobago is causing somewhat that rise in criminal activity that we are seeing here?
Well, I think the gang activity is supported by the lack of love for those who join the gangs. Young people that I've worked with and talked with will tell you, the gang has my back. Well, your parents need to have your back.
Okay.
Or the school or the church. And so we have young people who are lost in essence because they do not feel loved, they do not feel appreciated, do not feel wanted. And so they gravitate to where they can find that basic need. And if that basic need is in the gang, then they join the gang. And obviously, once you become a member of the gang, you are now sold, you are now part of a movement. And you have no actual mind of your own anymore. The mind belongs to the gang. And this is what I'm saying, that we have to rescue our young people and a lot of older ones too. Because in the gang, of course, you have not only the violence, you have the drugs, you have the music. There's so many facets of that.
Correct.
So we have to look at this in a holistic manner also.
All right, interesting. And this feeling of not being loved, not being wanted, some professionals have the belief that you see these behaviors in the secondary school system, the child that acts out, the child that engages in activity that is not becoming. What are some of the reasons you think that we are seeing this increase in secondary school violence? On social media, we'll see the fights, we'll see the very disturbing images, you know, the drugs and the murders and so on, and the bullying. Are you of the belief now that these factors that you just listed are also what is causing the increase in the secondary school system?
Right. Well, it's what comes first, the chicken or the egg. So crime has a way of continuing itself, you know. But let's go back and look at the child. It's not just the secondary school. These problems did not begin in the secondary schools. These kinds of problems began at birth. In some cases, they began before birth. Because when the mother is pregnant with a child, all the feelings and the emotions of the mother is passed on to the unborn child. So if this was a teenager, and she was pregnant, or she is pregnant, and her parents do not want her around, or they castigate her, or they punish her, or all the different things that may happen, or the father decides that he's not the father. So all the stress and pressures that this young person is going through, all of that gets passed on to the unborn child. And some children who are born and they don't know how to love, they can't receive love, they can't give love. So there's a host of things that are inherent within this particular structure, and then it shows up. So this child is now in secondary school. But where was my father? Why did my father leave home? And of course, I've had situations where even adult men who, I recall one overseas, of course, and when I began talking with this gentleman, he began to cry, you know. His father was never there. Okay. And at school, he told his friends his father worked on a boat, so that they would not be aware of the fact that he didn't have a father, his father's not around. But the pain and the anger, especially the anger of all of this, finds fertile ground in a person's mind like that. And when it gets to secondary school, of course, they've come through kindergarten and primary school, and perhaps sometimes the teachers do not observe what is happening. Okay. Because most times the teachers are so concerned about getting my curriculum out, teaching my curriculum, that we do not think about the wellness of the individual. Okay. So the fruit begins to show up in the secondary school, and we think this child is bad, or this child does not know how to behave. But we need to go back again and find the root cause of this particular child, where they came from, what is the heritage, what's the family, what's the culture, what's the society. You see, all of this contributes to what is happening now. Okay, Dr. Ryan. So we'll be continuing this interview. I love how you noted that our young men are really affected, because we see it on the news. A lot of young men are getting into crime, are being murdered, are getting into gang violence. So we'll be continuing this interview right after the break. So viewers, we're chatting with Dr. Rupert Ryan about all things crime here in Trinidad and Tobago. So just stick around. We're going on to the next phase of the interview. Just remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
At JK Tech, we bring technology to your doorstep. From cutting-edge laptops to reliable printers, we've got it all. Nationwide delivery and a new website for easy online ordering. JK Tech is your one-stop shop for your electronics and computer needs, carrying top brands such as Acer, Samsung, HP, and much more. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JK Tech TT, or visit jktechtt.com. Quality tech is just a click away. JK Tech. Evaluate your shopping experience, your tech, your way. Call or WhatsApp 383-2651. Shop smart, shop JK Tech.
Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supply specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
And we are back here at Tobago Updates Youth Wednesdays. We continue with Dr. Ryan, counseling psychologist. He told us a little bit about his views on the crime situation and the violence happening on our island and especially in our schools. We're going to continue with how he intends to curb this using a program called Better Fathers, Better Sons, Better Men. So good morning again to you, Dr. Ryan.
Good morning, and good morning, Tobago, and thank you for having me.
Okay, so we're going to start with what the program is about, the theme of the program, what to expect.
So, better fathers, better sons, better men. The talk in town or the talk around the country, around the world is for better men. Someone says that the greatest want of the world is the want of men, you know, and so men provide that quality in the home, that quality in the society. People look up to men. Boys look up to men. Wives ought to look up to men, and as the priest and head of their homes. And if we have changes, if we can have the men conduct and behave the way they ought to, I think that will surely rub off. I think the boys will be different, the sons will be different. And of course, that will impact the society.
Of course. So, is there a specific group of men that you'll be targeting in terms of age group and stuff like that?
Well, for this program, 18 and up would be ideal. And up means it does not matter whether you're 60 or 70 or 80, because the men are still the fathers regardless of age. So this is not an age thing. However, because of the problems of our society and how quickly our young people are developing, I would say now that we have to step it down and go down to like 16, because at 16 then what, Form 5 is it? Form 4? Form 4. Right. I think we have to catch our young people maybe at 16 and begin to work with them and to give them the ideas that are necessary to produce in them the kind of men we want in our society. And then that will perpetuate itself on and on.
All right. So I've introduced you as a professional counselor, right? And you are very highly recommended. Yes. Oh. So I'd like you to let the viewers know a little bit about you. Who will be counseling them throughout this program? Okay, well, in fact, I don't even want to use the word counseling, because some people, when they hear the word counseling, they think that somebody's going to lecture them, or, you know, the program is really an interactive. It's a discussion type program where we can talk and where one can give their ideas and where people can, then I will probably intersperse concepts that will help you to understand yourself and your family and then make decisions that are appropriate. So for myself, something about myself, I started as a teacher right out of high school. Yes. I started as a teacher at San Fernando, and I went to Port of Spain Teachers College. That was the old Port of Spain Teachers College on Ryson Road. And from there,
my wife and I proceeded to the United States, where she continued her studies, and I went into doing a bachelor's in education and sociology, anthropology, and all those kinds of things. And following that, I pursued a master's at the Long Island University in counseling, and after that, I was asked to come to Tobago. It was my first visit to Tobago. I was asked to come to Tobago to be the principal of the Harmon High School, the now famous Harmon High School. And so a lot of people got to know me then. After maybe 4 to 5 years, I assumed the responsibility for education director for all the Seventh-day Adventist schools in Trinidad and Tobago. I think there were 22, around 22 at the time. And of course, the experiences of teaching and you're learning while you're teaching, and education, studies, and as principal, I learn a lot from the children. I learn a lot from the teachers, and so a lot of the things that I've inculcated in my own life comes from the experience of life itself. Then I pursued a doctoral program in counseling psychology, and that has allowed me to be prepared for what I do now. For the past 20 or 30 years, I've been in private counseling. In fact, I'm in the U.S. I lectured at St. Thomas University there in Florida, adjunct professor, and here in Tobago at the University of the Southern Caribbean. I've been a lecturer there in the bachelor's and the master's program, and also I'm the crisis counselor presently for the institution there. So that's just a little bit, but I like to say that the education we receive in the school of life is a better preparation. There are a lot of young people who go right through school and achieve their doctorates, and all of that is excellent. We have people in their 20s, with their doctorates and so on. But the experience of life before you study also is important, and I believe that I was prepared because of that to be able to deal with situations that maybe some others may not deal with in the way I would.
So you are well accomplished, but in life itself, you've learned a lot, and you are willing to offer this, I don't want to use the word counseling as you said, but this sort of advice to young men who are in our society today to help to curb the violence.
Yeah, I would like to share some of what I have accomplished or accumulated over the years. I think in our society we have a tendency to disdain the older folks, and there are a lot of older men. They may not have gone through school. They might have just been fishermen or farmers, but the stories they tell you and the counsel they can give you is a lot, in many cases, tremendous and more important than the book learning. Yes. And so we must fall back. We must look to the older men. And of course, the older men, even though they're not formally educated, must feel that they have something that they can offer to our young men in our society.
All right. So as we're wrapping up this interview, you have your book here with you.
Oh yes, this was done just before the pandemic, and it's a personal diary where one can use it to develop or to find out a lot about themselves. The first 6 chapters is actually a personal diary where you go back to your early childhood experience, and there are a number of questions that you answer, and in answering those questions and doing the activities, you find out a lot about yourselves. You see, you cannot make changes in your lives unless you understand who you are. You understand your historical perspective, where you came from, your family history, and then you make choices. Do I want to be like my dad? Do I want to be in prison? Or do I want to be like my cousin who is a lawyer? You have to make choices. And the choices that we make us. And so in our society, we need to bring all of this together. And so my idea is to provide this program where those who come, and we can do it on Zoom. You can do it in the space. You don't have to leave your home. You just get the Zoom code and you're in. and we can do it that way, interactive that way, or if there's a group that would like to have me come and do the program in their congregation, that can also be done.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Ryan. For additional information, we can visit.
Well, the information is on the flyer. On the flyer, the information, Better Men 2024@gmail.com, and you will receive all the information that you need about how the program will be done, how soon it will begin, and we are trying to make sure that we keep costs minimal, and maybe there might be persons in the society who would like to sponsor somebody. We'll go into all of that. So this is just an eye-opener to let you know what is there as we go into the new year. We want to just hit it early, and perhaps there might be people out there who want more information. You can look at the flyer and you can contact us, and we'll be happy to give you information. It's bettermen2024@gmail.com.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Ryan. Better fathers, better sons, better men. Viewers, we encourage you to be a part of this program. This is Dr. Ryan's way of trying to curb the violence in our society today amongst our young men. Right, so stay tuned. Coming up next, we have Miss Renessa Ortiz, who will be telling us a little bit about the Phoenix Society. All right, so we encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
A.N.R. Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Your destiny. The best way to predict it is to create it. Do you see yourself exploring exotic destinations or spending quality time with family? However you see yourself, create your own retirement destiny with Tata Life's Destiny Personal Savings Booster. Choose from one of 3 investment options with guaranteed minimum investment returns to secure a monthly retirement income for life, with the option to choose your retirement age. So what's your retirement destiny? Call 62-TATIL or visit tatil.co.tt to learn more today. Conditions apply. Tatil Life, a member of the Answer McCall Group.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show, here viewing us live here in Portmore, Scarborough. And Happy New Year for those who are just joining us, and I hope you guys are having a good New Year thus far. This morning, we're going to continue the conversation along youth work and youth development, and we have none other than Miss Renicia Ortiz. A happy New Year to you and good morning.
Thank you, same to you. Good morning.
Well, you've been quite popular in this space. Might I dare add that she is a contestant for the Tobago beauty pageant, correct?
Correct.
Miss Tobago. Congratulations. How has that been going for you, though?
Training has been really nice. It's a great experience for professional development and to develop myself as a young person, a young woman in the Tobago space. So it has been really good.
Nice. So tell us about the Phoenix Society.
The Phoenix Society is a non-governmental organization that focuses on developing youth through the arts. We have fashion design, art, music, theater, dance, you name it. It's all about taking what seems to be a hobby into something that is sustainable and can be used for the furtherance of our youth.
Nice. And is this a new group? How long have you guys been doing this work? Can you tell us about that?
The Phoenix Society would be 3 years old next month, February the 25th. We have been in existence for about 3 years, and so far the impact we have made is one that allows us to showcase the youth as well as be present in our community.
Okay, and while you said that you guys have made some good impacts, what are some of the notable things or achievements that you guys would have accomplished during the years? And you say 3 years, so that means you guys commenced during possibly the COVID period?
That is correct.
Yeah, so tell us about that and some of the achievements.
So far we have the Phoenix Society Award that focuses on highlighting youth that have been exemplary in art and culture. So for 2 years consecutively, we have given out that award at the Bishop's High School. We have also collaborated with No Youth Left Behind. That's an NGO based in Trinidad. We would have collaborated with them on their healthy eating campaign throughout Tobago. We are also partners with the Heavenly Care Home for the Elderly. We recently had get together with them for Christmas where we mingled with the elderly and had a good time. We also had workshops with the Her Foundation on taboo subjects amongst women and in the women's space.
Oh, that's quite a mouthful and quite a lot of achievement. So that means you guys have been doing a very good work in this space. So how do you believe that that your organization is geared towards youth development? I mean, is this another thing where just a space for people to come and just throw their hobbies, just do their hobbies, and that's just the end of it? What are some of the expectations for your initiative and your group?
This year we are focusing on theater art, and the main reason we are deciding to go ahead with theater art is we are realizing that now a lot of young persons are interested in it in the schools. There's a high prevalence of it, and we want to ensure that they have this space to grow. So we would provide training through collaborations with some of the NGOs and clubs already present on the island, as well as helping them source scholarships and sponsorships for them to further their studies. And we are also realizing that there are a lot of youth now that are focused in the arts or the trade, and we want to help foster and ensure that they have an outlet for this through mentorship programs.
Right. So I mean, for me personally, I love the initiative that you guys are having, because I am of the view that art and culture is kind of a dying thing on the island. Now, can you imagine you telling your parents, well, mommy, I want to go and study arts, and I want to study performing arts, I want to study, you name it, anything along the arts, I want to be a designer. Have you guys encountered, that stigma against art, and is this why this group is so important?
Our premier is Oshun Trim. She is passionate about the arts, and this is why she would have started the organization. I am an aspiring designer, And when I saw this club being broadcasted on Instagram, I jumped at the opportunity because it allowed me to be able to be a part of something that enhances what I want to do. I also had the opportunity through the club to create mass during the COVID period. So that was an opportunity for me as someone who is in the fashion design space as well. So they are providing the avenues for their members to go out and flourish.
And that's really good. And besides Oshun and yourself, is there any other notable person that this group has been beneficial to? Because you, again, I mean, you're in the industry. You're modeling clothes, you're sewing, you name it. So definitely this is beneficial to you. Who else has this been beneficial to, if you care to mention?
One of our executive members, Kedisha, she is starting an acting class for kids. So she is also starting to make her own waves in the Tobago space.
Right. And this initiative and this group geared towards, it's like a call to those persons who are so interested. And what are the age groups?
Our age group is 12 to 35, so it's vast. And in order to become a member of the Phoenix Society, you can follow us on Instagram. In our bio, there's a link that you can click on. You fill out the information and an email will be sent to you subsequently.
Oh, nice. There are quite a lot of beauty pageants and fashion shows around the world, namely the New York Fashion Week. Is it the Phoenix Society endeavor to have one of their best sent to that, possibly this year? I don't know what you guys are thinking. This is my question.
This year, no, I don't think so. But I'm sure it's something that we can definitely work towards in the future to ensure that our Tobagonians, by extension Trinidad and Tobago, is highlighted on a larger scale.
Yeah, and I know there's also one in London. I don't know if you've ever heard about it as well. That calls for creatives all around the world. It just might be an expensive trip, but I'm sure your creative geniuses could come up with something to send.
Yeah, we would most definitely like to be a part of something like that.
Yeah.
It gives you, it puts you out of the box that you are in, the box that you have grown up in. It allows you to expand your mind. So I think they would definitely be on board for something like that.
Right. So just rehash for us, and where can we find you? The age group, is it free? Because we like freeness, and this hard go of a season, people are expecting a very
Every quarter we have a subscription fee, and
a quarterly fee.
It's a quarterly fee, yes.
Wow.
It's 80 TT, and that
just 80 TT.
Just 80 TT.
Not US guys, TT.
And the age group is 12 to 35. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and that's where you would see all of our content, where we connect the things we do, the volunteerism that we are involved in.
Oh, nice. And you did mention some of the volunteer work that you did. I mean, it's quite good to see that we have a non-governmental organization, kind of championing the cause that the creatives matter too. Not just in the traditional sense, and that's great. Continue doing the good work that you guys are doing.
Thank you
and
so
I'm hoping
much.
to see a lot more of you guys.
Yes.
And I want to thank you. And any parting words for us?
Join the Phoenix Society.
Right. Oh, if you're non-creative and you're interested in honing the skills, can anybody join?
Yes, we are not limiting it to just creatives, because I believe if you're passionate about it, you have the opportunity to learn and develop yourself.
Oh, right. So again, this is Miss Ortiz. Thank you very much for coming on the Tobago Updates morning show to discuss your group, the Phoenix Society, and the initiative. I hope you guys join. Again, thank you, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank
and
you.
all the
Thank
best
you
in
for
your
having us.
endeavor. I wouldn't say much more about the pageant, but that's the end of this interview for this morning. Thank you for joining us. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection. Now exclusively available at Standard.
At JK Tech, we bring technology to your doorstep. From cutting-edge laptops to reliable printers, we've got it all. Nationwide delivery and a new website for easy online ordering. JK Tech is your one-stop shop for your electronics and computer needs, carrying top brands such as Acer, Samsung, HP, and much more. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JKTechTT or visit jktechtt.com. Quality tech is just a click away. JK Tech. Evaluate your shopping experience, your tech, your way. Call or WhatsApp 383-2651. Shop smart, shop JK Tech.
The Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development has relocated its Crown Point office to Glen Road in Scarborough to better serve you, our clients. Our main office is located at the corner of Glen Road and Glen Road Branch Number 1, the building formerly occupied by Coastal. Our grant and electrical inspectorate services can be accessed at Number 2 Montessori Drive in Glen Road, Building 1 and 2.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Youth Wednesdays and Tobago of this morning show. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of this show. It's been quite experience during the Christmas. I mean, I don't know about you, Luke, but any New Year resolutions for you?
Me, New Year's resolution. I think we chatted about this last week, but
I want to hear it from you.
From me,
yes, from the horse's mouth.
My New Year resolution, I think this year I'll be taking things very slow. Last year, I think I worked extremely hard, overworked myself actually, and while I was thankful to see the rewards and everything that happened out of it coming out from my hard work, I think it took a toll on my body. So this year, I think I'll be going very slow. I've realized that I don't think I have to prove myself to anyone anymore. So I'm going to be taking things slow, and I'm just, baptizing myself in those waters of peace and trying to just enjoy the most of life. I think life is very unpredictable, and it's important for us as young people to just enjoy it, and not try to, focus too much on our future. What about you?
Well, for me, two major things. I want to have a better relationship with God, and I want to take me for granted a lot less.
Okay.
Put me first. Not in the narcissistic sense of it, but put me first. I've spent a lot of my time, like you, working hard and building everybody else's empire except mine.
Correct.
And I too want to take things a little bit slow and steady wins the race. So, and take time no lazy, as them old people just say. So for me, that is two major things. So one of my Instagram posts did say transformation loading, and I am going to work feverishly to ensure that the transformation is comes to fruition.
That's interesting doing. I love the put you first. I think a lot of times as young men, we oftentimes put other people's lives and problems above ours. And then when we realize and we sit back and we just come to the realization that we may not see much development in all areas. So it's really good that you're putting yourself first. Any other resolutions?
Not quite.
Okay.
But for you, I want to again wish you all the best in your studies.
Thank you very much.
The one that you're pursuing is no easy task, but I am very much pleased with what I'm seeing thus far. I'm proud.
Thank you very much.
I see all the videos, I just be laughing, shaking my head. You know, I just comment every now and again. But I'm very much proud and pleased, man.
Thank you very much, Thank you so much. So it's 7:52. I think we had a great show today.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that chat about crime. I think the crime rate in Trinidad and Tobago, it's crazy.
It is crazy, and you know, especially for the context of Tobago. Now, I wouldn't speak on Trinidad because I'm not a Trinidadian, and not that I don't care, but I think for Tobago, the selling point of Tobago is its peace. And I think once the criminal element is encroaching to an extent where, you know, it's beyond control, it is alarming and uncomfortable. So I wish to say that I hope that everyone, including all the authorities, pool their resources together and their best minds to curb this thing before it gets out of hand.
Correct.
You know? Yes, that's just my thing. Well, we gotta live Little Tobago. We gotta go Little Tobago for the Tobago's peace now.
We need to keep Tobago safe. Keep it that island that we boast about. I know sometimes when the Trinidad friends giving me banter, they say, "Hey, I could leave my house unlocked and walk and make 2 laps and come back normally." You know, we'll joke about those things. But based on what we are seeing now, it's like I have to take it back. But to the citizens, to the residents of Tobago, you know, Tobago is a beautiful island, and let's try to preserve that as best as possible. This is no area for crime. Crime is not who we are. It's not our identity. We are not known for crime as Tobagonians. So I'm really dissatisfied with what I'm seeing happening coming into the new year. But viewers, you know, time is always of the essence here, so we have to wrap things up. You know, thank you to everyone that joined in, everyone that commented. Good morning to everyone. I hope that you all have a blessed and productive week. It's always a vibe here on the Youth Wednesday show, but remember, you just have to do us that one little favor. And what is that favor doing? Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Happy New Year.
Our legislative history. I enter a gallery of exquisite beauty filled with portraits of legislative history, heritage curated masterfully by prominent propagators of Tobago's democracy, riches of the earth, borderless seas, and the assimilation of needs, framed magnificently to display what defines the Tobagonian and who we aspire to be. The meaning of democracy, it lives in the arms of the young, the feet of the men, and the minds of the women who participate with passion in our evolving society. Passion and deliberate audacity to see change where there is only adversity. My heritage lives in each breath I take when I march for justice at a rally, for the rights of the disabled, for awareness of cancers and lifestyle diseases, for better roads, education system, internal self-government, financial literacy, transparency, and my prayers for God's guidance, because even when we don't find trouble, trouble go find we. Yes, my heritage thrives in those leaders who seek to raise our consciousness in the obedient child, in the teenager driven with passion for life, and the young adult who is brave enough to search for success her way, not held down by doubt or neutered by patriarchal pressure about her identity. When I walk through the halls of this gallery filled with such riches, I am in awe that the people who raised me
gave me these things and asked me to take care of them until it is my turn to pass them on. Today we pass on those riches through a series of events that mark December 4th as the day the seat of democracy returned to Tobago. It was the day the Tobago House of Assembly was inaugurated in 1980. The official celebration started in 2010 through a motion in the Assembly legislature by the then Chief Secretary Orville London. At the time, it was called Assembly Day. 5 years later, it was renamed Tobago Day in a motion laid by Leader of Assembly Business Claudia Groom-Duke.
Tobago Day is about drumming up patriotism and a call to duty for all of our people. And so, on this, the 43rd year of the modern Tobago House of Assembly, we have cause to celebrate and to reflect. This, our 43 year in existence of the modern THA, we have an opportunity to tell the rest of this country and to tell the world that Trinidad and Tobago is not just Trini, but there is a Bago component that is equally rich and riveting and has stories to be told. This is a moment for us to pause and tell our stories and to share the stories of the elderly and the people that we love all around us. This is a moment for us to reflect on how the next generation will become even more patriotic, even more Tobago nationalistic than my generation. This is why Tobago Day is important. And for me, celebrating our independence is important, and I'm happy to put on my red, black, and white to celebrate independence every year. But for me, as a Tobagonian, December 4th is equally or even more important than that. I wish to officially declare Tobago Day celebrations 2023 officially open, and we look forward to a great month of December. But more than that, we look forward to all of the roll-on activities post-December 4th that will continuously remind us of who we are and the fact that we ought to be quite comfortable, quite celebratory in the castles of our own Tobago skin.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds, brought to you by B-Mobile. While the new school term began without any major challenges in Tobago, some teachers are reporting they are still without their promised back pay and gratuity. The Trinidad Tobago Teachers Unified Association, one of the unions concluded wage negotiations with the chief personnel officer, expected to receive their back pay before Christmas as promised by the Minister of Finance. However, in Tobago, the funds were only released to the Division of Education, Research and Technology on December 19th. The division assured teachers that every effort was being made to complete all payments by December 31st. According to Tutor Tobago officer Braden Roberts, not all teachers were paid. Up next, National Transformation Alliance NTA leader Gary Griffith is joining many in expressing sorrow over the recent passing of Tobago's first Chief Secretary, Hocho Charles. He described Charles as a true son of Tobago, a trailblazer, and a symbol of resilience. Meanwhile, the Tobago Council of the PNM labeled Charles as a true statesman who charted a new course for governance on the island. They recognize him as a fierce proponent and defender of the THA who was willing to collaborate with his political opponents in Tobago to achieve greater autonomy for the island. And finally, a state funeral is being planned for the nation's 5th Prime Minister, Basdeo Panday. This was announced by the Office of the Prime Minister. Additionally, the Ministry of National Security advised that flags should be flown at half-mast at all state and non-state agencies and Trinidad and Tobago diplomatic missions in abroad in observance of Panday's passing until further notice. Panday passed away on Monday night after seeking medical treatment in the United States. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds, brought to you by B-Mobile.
News in 90 seconds was brought to you by B-Mobile. It's a Christmas season with B-Mobile.
This Christmas we celebrating, cause B-Mobile they coming with rating. So brace yourself for plenty prices, cause this season will be done nice. It's the most deals and the most vibes and the most cars and the most price. The most giveaways, the most parade. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile. I want a Christmas season with B-Mobile. Bring the sorrow let we toast to a Merry Christmas. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile.
Top up, buy a plan, sign up or pay your bills to enjoy the best Trinbago Christmas. B-Mobile. Life is on.
Good morning, Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, yes, we are coming to you live from the Assembly Legislature building, where we've been here all week in observance of the passing of our first Chief Secretary, Mr. Hocho Charles. And of course, he passed away on December 31st, definitely leaving his mark on Tobago. And as we continue to acknowledge his contributions, and his contributions are so much, we spend days upon days speaking about them. Attempt a little bit about it. First of all, I am being joined this morning by Ms. Pamela Nicholson, who was a former member of Parliament under the A.N.R. As we remember, Mr. Hocho Charles. So a special good morning and welcome to you, Ms. Pamela Nicholson. How are you this morning?
Yeah, well, good morning, Ms. Jackson. Pretty fair. Right. This is a senior citizen, so we always are fair.
Well, certainly my pleasure to have you here with me this morning. But, as we get into the conversation, and we look back at Mr. Hocho Charles, what stood out to you the most about the man?
Well, the first thing that I would like to talk about Mr. Hocho Charles is that a group of us belonged to a team in a club called
That's fine.
Yeah, I really grieved when I learned of the passing of the first Chief Secretary for Church, because we played a significant role in an organization called the Democratic Action Congress, under the purview of Mr. A.N.R. Robinson. Charles emerged as a heavy roller from that institution, and we functioned voluntarily from that institution. And after we had the first county council election, he won his seat, and he became a county councillor. But Charles emerged as a Tobagonian, someone who served the people. After he functioned as a councillor, he went to Trinidad as a senator.
Yes, he did.
And he was a junior to the National Security Minister at the time, which was Joseph Tony. Then he returned to Tobago and functioned as a secretary in Tobago. His role was a secretary in works and infrastructure. And he did some good work in that area. One of the things that I could always remember is the road that he developed in that Belmont area from Hope into Mason Hall. That road was developed by Hochoi Charles. He also did some work in the Golden Lane area, from the one-lane scenario to more than one lane. And he really structured there. After that, when you had the elections in 1996, he became the first Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. And he was very strong, and he served the people in a very meaningful way. He had set up a number of institutions at the time. One of the things that you can remember is the PRDI.
Yes.
The PRDI was designed by Mr. James, Dr. James. It shouldn't be Mr. James, it's Dr. James. And what was the PRDI? The PRDI was really meant Policy Research and Development Institute information. This was a structure of Chief Secretary for the Tobago House of Assembly. But it was designed by Dr. James. And you had some economists, you had some agricultural people working there. I don't know if you need names, right? Because you had Mr. Rennie Dumas, you had Dr. Colin MacDonald, you had Miss Pearl Titus. She came from Trinidad to function in Tobago, and she was agriculture. Mr. William Benjamin, he was agriculture. You had Mr. Anselm Richards, you had Dr. Hazel, functioning in that institution. And the institution was to structure the Tobago House of Assembly to make it an institution that Tobago will always remember. And that came from
Mr. Charles.
Chief Secretary Charles.
Yes. What was he like in the early days? Did you work along with him as a county councillor in Tobago?
No, I didn't work with him as a county councillor. I functioned with him in the Democratic Action Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And we functioned voluntarily under the purview of Mr. Robinson.
And what was he like during those times?
Well, I enjoyed it. Mr. Robinson had come back from Trinidad to Tobago. And then from that institution, remember, you had an election in 1978.
Mm-hmm.
And there emerged Mr. A.N.R. Robinson and Dr. Winston Murray.
Mm-hmm. But Mr. Charles, Mr. Ho-Choi Charles, during those times, what was he
Well,
like?
that is how he emerged as the heavy roller, because he was there at all the meetings and so on, talking for the people of Tobago.
So, I mean, you know, when you look back at some of the work that you did with him, whether it's in Parliament and so on, working under the A.N.R. government, under Mr. Robinson, you know, what stood out for you during that time?
Well, Senator Charles functioned more from an advisory perspective. I would say that. And then he came back to Tobago because the Tobago House of Assembly was in need at the time. And Charles really wanted to do work for Tobago. He was always a part of Tobago.
And what can you tell me also about his passion? Because what we've known and what we've seen about him is that passion for Tobago.
Well, he cared for Tobago because any group that was functioning and he was not there, he will go and join to guide the group. Because you remember the last one that you had under Mr. London. That group was to continue to deal with the autonomy for Tobago. Charles did not belong to the party, but he went and he joined the group. And he functioned with the group. And that document is still in the National Parliament. To date, we have not gotten our autonomy. And Charles will cry in his grave.
Did you have any interactions with him in recent times before he passed?
No, I wouldn't say that. Because I didn't even know that he was ill. I was at home because I am down too. And it was at home that I heard that he had passed on.
But
he served Tobago to the extreme, I would say. And his business was for Tobago, Tobago's development, Tobago's democracy, Tobago's autonomy. That was Charles right down until he died.
And then what was the working relationship with him like during your time in governance?
Well, during my time in government, I could remember when, under the Pandey government, when we sent our funds to Tobago, Charles refused to accept. He said all Tobago's money must come to Tobago. And that is how they moved. Remember the Dispute Resolution Commission. And when they went to the Dispute Resolution Commission, they won the case. Minority result, something like 4.3%, and majority 6.9%. And to date, ma'am, we have not received our 6.9%. A disgraceful situation as far as the parliament is concerned. Tobago should have gotten its determined result. And Charles, very, very important in that scenario. He was the man who took the issue, also guided by Dr. Vanos James, to the Dispute Resolution Commission. And the Dispute Resolution Commission gave those results. And even the minority results, it's unbecoming of the Minister of Finance as far as I'm concerned.
During that time, though, when Mr. Charles was fighting and advocating for a greater portion, or for what Tobago deserved, what was the reactions to him, and how did he handle the opposition or the opposing voices that were not necessarily in agreement?
As far as the opposition is concerned, I don't think that they had a problem, because the opposition, remember, under the present leader, in 2013, they went to the House for internal self-government. It is the PNM that opposed. I could remember when they took their document to Parliament, the present Prime Minister, not Hochoy Charles,
Dr.
Keith Rowley, he made his statement and walked out of the House. Disgraceful. And then with the work that was done under Mr. London, remember you went to the different villages to hear the views of the people and so on. And the final document that was taken, that was sent to the Parliament, is still there.
So
and Charles was an integral part of that.
So when you look back at the life of Mr. Charles, what would you say is the biggest thing that represents who he is or who he was as a man?
As far as I'm concerned, his business was extreme as far as Tobago was concerned. His life was for Tobago. And he functioned for Tobago all his life. And the Tobagonians, I think, are very grieved, very saddened that we have lost Chief Secretary Charles.
Do you think that Tobagonians also understood what he was trying to do during those times of active politics?
Yes, he did. Remember, another area that Chief Secretary Charles did was when he implemented the scholarship program. The scholarship program where young Tobagonians were sent to St. George's University in Grenada. And we have a number of doctors and health people. We also have economists. The Secretary for Finance under Mr. London, Mr. Jack, he came from that. You had Dr. Duke, who is at Roxborough. You have Dr. Baker. You have many, many Tobagonians that benefited from what Mr. Charles did.
And, you know, how did...
And Trinidad was very unhappy that he implemented that program.
And so tell me about, you know, just him dealing with that, him dealing with people in Trinidad not so happy about him going ahead with making sure Tobagonians had that opportunity that they wouldn't have otherwise had.
Well, I don't know how to answer that one because I told you about the PRDI, which is that was to structure the Tobago House of Assembly. You also had Mr. Alan Richards was the chief administrator. That too was to strengthen the Tobago House of Assembly. And as far as I'm concerned, Chief Secretary Charles' business was Tobago, Tobago's development, Tobago from a democratic perspective, Tobago from a structural perspective. And many people were very happy with the work that he did. Because as I told you, you had the PRDI, which was to structure the Tobago House of Assembly, and I explained that to you.
Did.
Then you have the scholarship system that he implemented. Then you have infrastructural development, roads and that kind of thing that were just one lane. He developed them. So Tobago was very happy with the way in which he functioned.
What can you tell me about him being able to manage the Tobago House of Assembly at a time when we did not get the same amount of money that we're getting now, at a time when resources were tough and it was not, things were not quite as easy as it is right now. Tell me about him being able to manage and accomplish a lot with little.
Well, he accomplished those things that I just spoke to you about, but as far as I'm concerned, the parliamentary system in Trinidad, they are very wicked. Their purpose was not to give Tobago their money, but they will use it. They'll use it to build the airport. They'll use it for public utilities. They'll use it for transport, roads, and so on. So they now will be using the funds in Trinidad when the funds really should be coming to Tobago, to the Tobago House of Assembly. And that was a battle that Secretary Charles was fighting for. And that is the importance of the Dispute Resolution Commission. And it is very sad that the Minister of Finance to this date have not given us our money. And Charles must have grieved right down to the finish because of that. And we will continue the fight. We have to continue the fight.
So how do you think we should remember Mr. Charles? What do you think is the best way to honor him?
Just as how you honored, you have to honor him just like how you did Robinson at Bacalet and so on. You can do something up at Golden Lane. As a matter of fact, a number of them should be honored. You have Bigot, you have, look at APT James. One is not happy to see how his thing is kept. And then you have now Mr. Hutoy Charles. So you should have a system where all those gentlemen should be honored. And Charles should be one. For the great work that he did for Tobago.
Right. And you know, when you look back on just even your personal relationships, or personal interactions, I should say, with him.
Well, my personal action, the Democratic Action Congress, we really worked there. You know, we worked throughout Tobago as an executive, a voluntary executive, a team of us. Charles was there and a number of other people, and we functioned. And that is why we had the development coming out of it for the election when we won that election with Robinson and Murray. And remember, it is Robinson who moved the motion in the House for internal self-government. PNM couldn't, Williams did not answer. And they tell us after we won the election in Tobago, if we want it, we take it. And whoever was the Minister for Tobago Affairs, he removed that person. So we struggled, we carried on the battle. We carried on the battle, then remember we came together with Pandey and his team, Carl Hotzer Phillips and his team, and we formed the A.N.R. And it was 1968. We won that election, and Robinson became the Prime Minister. And it is out of that purview that Charles functioned as senator, the junior senator in Trinidad, and then he came back to Tobago. And remember, when Mr. Robinson went to Trinidad to become the Prime Minister, when he asked who you want to be your leader, everybody in the park shout out, "Heavy roller." Charles was the heavy roller, and he was the heavy roller right through.
And you know, and I mean, we've been spending quite a lot of time talking about Mr. Charles, but we just got about a minute or two left. And I mean, you also worked with Mr. Pandey, and we did lose him a couple of days ago as well. What can you tell me about your memories about Mr. Pandey and working along with him in the A.N.R?
I think Mr. Pandey was, you mean in the A.N.R?
Or in general?
Oh, because in the A.N.R, you had a problem, and,
yes.
And because of that problem, they pulled away with their team and went down, and then you remember they formed the ULF, right? And it is out of that they came and they won the election. They didn't win the election. the election was even with the PNM, and then they communicated with with Mr. A.N.R. Robinson, and the other person was Pamela Nicholson.
Yes.
And the two of us linked with Pandy.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
So when they make statements that UNC would not support the M for autonomy, I disagree.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Ms. Pamela Nicholson. It was certainly a pleasure getting to speak with you this morning as we reflect on the life of Mr. Ho Choi Charles. And of course, we had to touch on Mr. Basdeo Panday as well.
Yes.
Because of the time that we're in. Right? So, well, viewers, we're not done yet with our conversations this morning. So we just had Ms. Pamela Nicholson, and up next we have Mr. Ashwood Jack as we dive more into the life and the contribution of Mr. Ho Choi Charles, our first Chief Secretary.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. Never ever worry if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Welcome back. Good morning. Honorable, our first Chief Secretary, Ms. T.
At JK Tech, we bring technology to your doorstep. From cutting-edge laptops to reliable printers, we've got it all. Nationwide delivery and a new website for easy online ordering. JK Tech is your one-stop shop for your electronics and computer needs. Carrying top brands such as Acer, Samsung, HP, and much more. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JKTechTT or visit jktechtt.com. Quality tech is just a click away. JK Tech. Evaluate your shopping experience, your tech, your way. Call or WhatsApp 383-2651. Shop smart, shop JK Tech.
Hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
Joining us live at the Assembly Legislature building, where we honor the life and the contributions of our first Chief Secretary, Mr. Ho Choi Charles. And certainly what a wonderful contribution he made and definitely left a mark here in Tobago. So for this part of our conversation, we are being joined by Mr. Ashwood Jack, who worked who was a former minority leader in the Tobago House of Assembly and worked very closely with Mr. Charles. So we're going to get started off talking a little bit about Mr. Charles. And of course, we're going to also touch on Mr. Basdeo Panday, our 5th Prime Minister, who we also lost on New Year's Day. But we're going to start off with Mr. Charles. So good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Jack. How are you doing?
Good morning, Candice. Good morning, Tobago Update. Everyone viewing on the World Wide Web. Thanks for having me.
Now, as we look back at Mr. Charles, what stood out to you? I'm just going. I mean, you work. I know you work very closely with the man, but what stood out? You know, looking back at him.
Let me just say something about his death, and then we go to
sure, no problem.
To the life of the man. You know, there's an old African adage that says, "When an old man dies, a library is burnt." And this epitomizes the death of Mr. Charles. Walking encyclopedia, walking library, you know. At that time, in the African tradition, especially to the Igbo tribe of Nigeria, what they did is that they chose people to carry the history. We're lucky that we still have written history. But Mr. Charles was one of those persons who could rattle off the history, rattle off the law, and stuff like that, you know. And I think that this for Tobago and for the country at large is a major loss. But it's something that we have to understand that and I say this all the time, we owe God a debt.
Yeah.
Once we are born, we know we will die. To me, what is important is how you live between birth and death. And that is what is important. Mr. Charles' life, the fact that we are here eulogizing him, speaks to the kind of contribution that he would have made during that time. You know, and Mr. Charles is one of those, a line of strong Tobagonians of the era that showed caution to the wind as it relates to fighting for Tobago's autonomy. And to that end, I found it very interesting that Mr. Charles died exactly 134 years after Tobago lost its autonomy. Tobago lost its autonomy on the 1st of January 1889, and Huchoy died on the 31st of December 2023, exactly 134 years. And the fact that he spent his life in the struggle for Tobago's autonomy, I think there are two significant dates that will go down in the annals of history.
Certainly. And as you look back, what stood out?
What stood out about Huchoy? His dogmaticness, the fact that he was fearless, the fact that he was not only fearless, but he knew his stuff. You know, there are some fearless people who are bravado. They just make noise. No. Mr. Charles, when he made noise, he knew what he was talking about. You know, there are so many contributions that Mr. Charles would have made to Tobago's development. You know, I think I heard Pam allude to a couple of them, so I wouldn't want to go back over those.
Certainly.
But just to say this, to add to this, when the issue of the scholarship program in Tobago came up, and of course we knew that there was a lot of opposition from Trinidad. Immediately after that, when Trinidad saw the benefit of the scholarship program, Mr. Panday introduced dollar for dollar. So the first person who introduced those scholarship programs to Trinidad and Tobago was Huchoy Charles. And after they fought him for a while, they realized, hey, there's benefit to this. And that is how dollar for dollar came about. And of course, subsequent to that, Mr. Manning came in and did the gate. But the opener of the gate was Huchoy. You know, and I think that was a significant contribution. Of course, you know, Huchoy was also responsible for where we are in terms of a predictable share of the national budget. When we came into the Assembly in 96, I came in, of course, Huchoy was there, but 80 went out, became a minister, a senator and a minister, then came back in. But when we came in, the Tobago share of the budget was between 1.6% and 2%. And that is how the issue, Mr. Robinson, in his wisdom, wrote into the act. The Dispute Resolution Commission, the choice of that. And of course, within months, Huchoy triggered the Dispute Resolution Commission. And of course, it did not come to fruition until the year 2000. And he never really got, as Chief Secretary, to enjoy the use of that, because the first time Tobago got the 4.03% would have been in 2001, when he lost the election. I was part of that team on the 28th of January 2001. And of course, later the year, we got the first challenge from the Dispute Resolution Commission's fight.
Yes.
You know, and but even so, with a very, very limited amount of resources that Mr. Charles had, there were a number of development programs that started simultaneously throughout the island. I was at work, so I could attest to a number of them. You know, the program that started to do all the road developments at Providence Road, in Palatevere, in Speyside, the Plymouth Road, Easterfield Road, between going back to the dam to go to Mount St. George and Mason. In that period, with very, very little resources, because I remember in that year there was about $34 million in development funds. 34 million, TT, in development funds. And it was about $100-something million at that time in recurrent. But he would have changed the dynamics vis-a-vis how much recurrent to development. And he cited all those. And that was the fearless nature of the human being. And at the same time that was happening, there were a number of other programs that were put in place. For example, you know, there's a caregiver program for where people take care of the elderly. All that was done during the time of Mr. Charles. You know? So there were a number of things that Huchoy did that was revolutionary in terms of how we did stuff in the past. And it is unfortunate that I'm trying to remember which was a poem that spoke about somebody who was untimely ripped from their mother's womb. And to me, that was Huchoy. It was before his time. Yeah. You know, people didn't understand it. But I remember he always told a story about his name. He always told a story about his name. And he said when his mother was pregnant with him, he was told by his mom, she used to be hot, you know, heat. And there was one person who said, you're hot, a business person in Scarborough. And he saw her fanning and sweating and consuming a lot of water. And then she said, the gentleman said to him, oh my God, Huchoy. And she didn't know Huchoy in one of the Chinese tongues meant fire. And so the mother named him Huchoy. And sometimes your name means a lot, you know. And his life have been epitomized by a very vocal, very fiercely Tobagonian gentleman. You know, I have been privy to some of the fights in my time.
We have certainly know about some of those fights.
Some of those fights. I remember the battle with the Mr. Pandy when they just wanted to come and pave roads in Tobago.
With Minister Carlos John.
Carlos John, you know. I mean, I nearly went to jail for that. You know?
Oh, we had a little bit about that yesterday from Mr. Jerry McFarlane.
I nearly made a jail for that because at the time I was in charge of works. And I took a number of pieces of works equipment, trucks and graders, and we went and blocked the road. And I remember the police superintendent, I don't wish to call his name, I mean, we became friends after. The police superintendent came and told me, I'm going to lock you up. I said, go ahead. He said, you're blocking the government road. I said, the government is ours. I said, I'm in charge of works. I said, when the road we want to fix, who you just call? Works? I said, well, works fixing works road. You know, and the thing about that is that Huchoy was the kind of person that initially I tried to get him. to tell him that I was going to do that. But I knew him so well that I noted that if I had to take a beating, I would take it.
So did he take a beating for that?
Of course not. When he did call me back, I was on the road blocking it. And he said, Mr. Jack, I hear you're blocking the road. I said, Chief, what are you going to do here? Block the road. And so things I do, we had some of those moments. Of course, we have had our differences. And that comes from strong personalities. But there are some things that I remember very fondly of him. As I told the story sometime earlier today, I remember when I just came to Works. I was young, very, very young, just turned 30. So I went to Works. And there were some strong-willed men running Works at the time, And they were taking the Works equipment, doing private jobs. You can't find them. And so this little fellow come down to Works and instructing them to bring back the equipment and stuff like that. And so they're fighting, they're vexed. And they complained to Mr. Charles about me. And on Saturday morning, his office was right across there. He called me up to his office Saturday morning about 8 o'clock. So I said, what this man want, guy? So he came up to his office. Mr. Jack. I said, what happened? He said, I am told that you are giving trouble in Works. I said, Chief, like what? So we talk. And this is very early. That's probably within the first month of of us being in office. And then he told me, and I said, but Chief, we're trying to find the equipment. So I'm trying to understand, what was I been chastised for? And then he said to me, I want to tell you something. So I'm waiting for my beating, right? Because I tell myself, you're probably young and brash, so you're about to get a beating. And he said to me, don't ever forget this. So what's that? He said, your subordinates can never give you trouble. Only your superior. Go and do your work. So things I do is I remember that, and it's something I have lived with. It's something even where I am now, I pass on to people. Your subordinates can't give you trouble. It's only your superiors could give you trouble. And I learned that from him, and I have lived with that ever since. And he was like that. There's another one that I use all the time that I remember from him. Experience keep it a very expensive school, and fools learn in no other. And there are things I just see you say, because he was an avid reader. He's an avid reader. And
is that what inspired you to be a reader? Because, I mean, someone
that was me before. That was me. I have a sister immediately after me. And it's something I'm getting back into heavily. And they will tell you, I used to sit down and read and don't even know when the sun come up. I read whole night, and then when you look out, you say, wait a minute, the place getting bright. But people like Choi, A.N.R. Robinson, and Jeff Davidson, those were three of the people who inspired me greatly. They were fearless men. Jeff was quiet, but Jeff was a dangerous human being. I don't think nobody really knew and understand Jeff well unless he was close to him. And unfortunately, Jeff and Choi passed in the same year. And they were two of the last bastions of Tobago's protection, and in terms of knowledge, they were two of the people who are extremely knowledgeable about things Tobago, the struggle for internal self-government. They lived it, I want to be careful that this is not seen wrongly, but I want to say maybe it is fortuitous that from a very, very early age, I kept company with people like Jeff and Hu Choi and Stanley Beard and Murphy John and Ken Jones, because as a result of that, I lived some of the things that people hear about. But I lived it. I was part of it. I saw it unfold. I remember there were some things that I remember clearly about Hu Choi. Never late.
Never late.
Huchoy was never late. And don't care what it is, Huchoy was never, ever late. And he had horn late. And that was another, that was a Robinson trait. Robinson was never late. I remember sometimes we have meetings and if you see Robinson watching about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, he says, lock that door. And when the door locked, that is it. Anybody who late stay outside. You know? And so things like those, you know, would have instilled a certain kind of thing. And I think some of our leaders need to have some of those instilled in them, because they're very. It's new to some people, and sometimes it's uncourteous to have people waiting and stuff like that, and people judge you. Because there's another thing that I've learned from that era of politicians, that punctuality is the first sign of efficiency. And you know, so those are the kind of things, you know. And I've seen Huchoy, you know, and I remember some of the lighter stuff about him, and I remember in campaigning, he was a fierce campaigner, you know. And I remember in 92, the now Secretary for Housing, Ian, myself, and Huchoy used to go on campaign whole day until night. I was reminded Ian about this, you know. And our meal for the day will be a pack of cricks. And them times they sell cheese by the ounce. So you have about 2 ounces of cheese. And you drank water by every standpipe. Those days, you didn't look for money for campaigning and stuff like that. And that was in 92. That was the first time I was nominated to run for the assembly. But of course, my politics started in 77 as a little guy. But in that year, we were particularly close because I was supposed to be a candidate for the area, and there was some friction. And I stood down and allowed Huchoy to run for the seat and became his campaign manager. And of course, Ian and I were always very close. And so we went out to campaign. And that was it every day, you know. And
how do you think he should be remembered?
It is hard. It is hard to say how you remember people like Huchoy. But maybe to start with, and as I said this in another place this morning, I don't want to be like at the risk of sounding facetious. I think one of the first things, one that could be done, is that bypass road that is being constructed now from Cove
Friendship
to should be named the Huchoy Charles bypass. And that is one of the things that, you remember, he always wanted that place, he wanted the airport terminal to be in that area.
Yes, in the Friendship Estate.
Right.
He spoke about it quite a lot.
Yeah, because it was one of the options. And in looking at it, we thought that if you look at Miami Airport, where the planes come into the tarmac, compared to where you jump on a train and end up to go to the terminal to do your immigration, it's probably 10 times and that. So there was no need to do all the breaking down of all the houses in that compound area when that was another option, you know. And I know Huchoy felt very, very strongly about that, you know. So I think that might be a start, you know. I wouldn't want it to take as long as it took to honor A.N.R. Robinson. You know, that was another struggle, and maybe I put my foot in my mouth. But saying this reminds me of what I had to go through to get the airport named A.N.R. Robinson International, because that was my doing. And I think there are a couple of people that we have to honor, and Huchoy is one of them. Jeff is another one, has a quiet disposition, but his contribution cannot be forgotten. And then I also find it difficult to think that in a country made up of 2 islands, there is no position on the island of Tobago, in government or otherwise, that allows anyone in Tobago to automatically have a state funeral. Something is wrong with that.
Well,
every chief secretary in Tobago, at least to begin with, should be entitled to a state funeral. Everyone. I mean, and who have done so much. You know, that should not have even been a question. Of course, if they were asked and his family said no, then there's another story altogether. But as of right, he should have been entitled to a state funeral.
And then speaking of state funeral, one is being planned right now for the passing of our fifth Prime Minister, Mr. Bassett.
And rightfully so.
And we have to spend a few minutes. We only got a couple of minutes left, but I mean, you also would have had some interactions with Mr. Pandey. What can you tell us about that time?
Witty. Witty. You know, it's an interesting. I ask people, do you know where the A.N.R. started? You know the A.N.R. started in Tobago, right? At the Alma Guest House in Mason Hall. Carl Hudson Phillips, Bassett Pandey, A.N.R. Robinson. Also there was Food Choi. I remember there was this woman who provided the food. She was an assemblywoman after Pearl. Sister Pearl used to call her from, imagine that, I forget the name. And she was the assemblywoman for Hope Mount St. George. Again, a little guy, 1985, 86, I was there. And so that is where it started. And I seen Baz there, and Baz was witty. And of course, we have had a number of opportunities to interact. And I remember one time after the 2010 election, we met, I think there was something at the stadium, and it was there, and he, of course, he knew that I supported, I was close to Kamala because Kamala was somebody I knew since the 86 election, through Mr. Robinson. And he came across to me and he said, Ashworth, I don't know him, he said, I see you and all my enemies are friends. and that's the way he was, you know. He was that kind of person, you know. And so I think that the country have lost one day apart, one on the last day of the year and one on the first day of the year. Two giants of men, two men who had shown a level of fearlessness, two men who were fierce for what they believed. Because, of course, as I said, after there was the scholarship program in Tobago, Pandey introduced the dollar for dollar. And then Pandey, again, a next man who have done a whole lot and have not probably been honored in the way he should have been, you know. But I think that we forget our leaders too quickly. We move on from our leaders too quickly. And what we focus on is our differences and not our similarities. And that is why I say to people all the time, I do not believe in the politics of demonization. And that is what we do. Once we are not on the same side, they demonize you. And you're going to see all kinds of things in the next couple. I've started seeing some things. These self-righteous people are going to be putting out stuff about who Trey wasn't friends with and who he was friends with and who they agree with. And my maxim in life is, show me a perfect man, and I'll show you a God. So I've seen, regardless of what send-off Troy have or gets tomorrow, the contribution that Troy has made to Tobago is going to go down in the annals of history. People are going to read about Troy for quite a while. Troy is going to have become more accepted. And that is what I find sometimes disturbing. People who were cursing Troy every day when he was alive, now singing him praises. I mean, it's just like, where? How? Make it make sense, you know? But, you know, you just have to leave it alone. You know, I remember some of the things I remember is that even after I was out of the assembly, some of the assembly secretariat members, when the new assembly people came in, they met me one evening, it was after our budget, about 10 o'clock in the night, and they said to me, you and Hucho and them really entered the assembly again, eh? So he said, you know, budget debate done. We used to debate the budget. Maybe this was wickedness, but but it was important for us. Our budget debate used to start 10 o'clock on the Thursday morning and finish the next morning 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Whole day, whole night. I will never forget. Before they changed the date of the time, they had just changed the time for the budget. Just changed it. The first year, they changed, because it used to be January, and they then bring it to September. So, it was still there. So our budget had to go in September.
Yeah.
And the budget was in January. As I must probably have been one of the most unfortunate men. First year in the assembly, man. Budget debate, response on budget debate is on my birthday. So I gone in, I didn't know what it was going to be like. So I gone into the sitting, and all the guys telling me, well, happy birthday. I said, well, we go line later. I said, mm-hmm. When you make 12 o'clock, them boys look at me and say, Jack, happy belated birthday. You know? And which I would have taken us, and everybody had to be very precise. You had to go through your stuff. It was a good time. And one of the greatest honors I felt is that I was probably either the youngest or the second youngest member of the House that we came in. But the very second debate in the House, who tried his, he outlined his plans, and then the next week he called me, Mr. Jack. I said, the next time we go to the House, the motion is yours. Bring a motion on the inter-island transportation between Trinidad and Tobago. And I was like, this man crazy, man. It's an older fellows, older than me, who I thought was more experienced than me. And, you know, and I did, you know, I did. And it taught me how, from the responses and stuff, how erudite I was and stuff like that since then. Mm-hmm. And of course, after that 16 years of talking, would have done some good, if it had done some good. But certainly. I saw it as an honor that he would have chosen me to be the person who did one of those. And of course, you know, I have introduced Uchoy a million times. I've spoken right before him for years. We have debated in the House. We have worked together. Mm-hmm. As I said, you know, we have not been without our frictions. And anybody who knows me know that I will fight you. And anybody who knows Uchoy is going to fight you. So there have been clashes, but I've always been those kind of respectful, very respectful clashes. But
and you're definitely a man that has quite a lot of stories to tell, as we notice. But I mean, we're unfortunately out of time for this segment. I mean, for show this morning actually. But I want to thank you so much, Mr. Jack, for being here with us and for speaking about Mr. Charles. And maybe this is something that we can build on as we go forward to make sure that we really remember the life, because I mean, we've barely touched on who Mr. Charles was and the work that he's done. Barely touched it. And
of his contribution and that dogmaticness. And,
it's quite a lot. Yeah. But I want to thank you so much, Mr. Jack. Certainly one of those people that would have worked very closely with Mr. Charles for many, many years. Just being here to share with us just a few things, minute little things about Mr. Charles. All right, so viewers, so that's it for our show this morning. I want to thank you so much for joining us. It was certainly my pleasure to get you closer to some of the people that had worked with Mr. Uchoy Charles, our first Chief Secretary, as we get ready to say goodbye to him, which would, his funeral is supposed to take place tomorrow. So you want to stay tuned to us at Tobago Updates, as we will be bringing you coverage and so on. And we've got more later on this week as we honor the life of Mr. Charles. So bye for now.